Jody Martin is the former extension agent, and Jody, you've seen a lot of changes in agriculture, and one of the things that you saw was that agriculture is always moving in different directions.
That's right.
And in South Carolina, agriculture has so many connections that weren't really realized. And I think you saw that there was a need for education so that the ordinary citizens of South Carolina understood that we need to support agriculture. So let's talk about the genesis of the idea for this wonderful event where we are today.
Well, man, it was, I guess, about 6 years ago, there was a group of us, we started talking, having conversations. We've had expos and other things around the state, but we had envisioned a trade show and education and how to put it all together, because really we go into meetings and you look around and you see your 2 week span, you're at 3 different places in the state, 3 or 4, and it's a lot of the same people. So what about the opportunity to pull everybody together, get them under one roof, bring in a lot of exhibitors, tie in a lot of special things, and what we found was a way to connect, to educate, and to share the innovations of what's happened in this great industry. And so that started with a group of business leaders talking and sharing and forming a partnership. This is a total team effort of working together to accomplish that.
And we talk about, this is the South Carolina Agribusiness and Farm Expo. And let's first of all talk about what agribusiness means and its importance to the state of South Carolina.
Well, agribusiness is such a big word, and we just had a chance a little bit ago to speak with career counselors and working with the Commerce Department on some folks they brought in and helping them understand that ag is not just farming. Farming is the grassroots of it, but ag involves, there's 130 different exhibitors here that are career opportunities for youth that are coming into the industry or that could come into the industry. And it involves everything from the financial side of it, the sales side of it, the agronomic side, the both large and small farms and all kind
of forestry.
Pieces. Forestry is
Yes.
a major piece,
Yes.
and ag is just, it is a big industry as far as the broadness of it. Now the neat thing about South Carolina that you mentioned is we're a smaller state. We're very tight knit and connected and networking. And that's really what we've been able to do, is build connections and networks. And I was telling those ladies and gentlemen in that those career counselors, I said, I want you to leave here with the wow factor. And then I want you to say it backwards, wow, because it is so powerful to realize that ag involves so many things and involves so many great people that help put this together. And we're all connected in a very special and a passionate way.
I think one of the things that you're doing here is by showing the breadth of agriculture and the interconnectivity, and as far as jobs and
Exactly.
income that comes, is that with a change in this people who live in South Carolina, when I was a young girl, most of us still had family that lived in rural parts of the state.
Right.
And that's not true anymore.
Yeah.
And so as we've become more urbanized, I feel like one of your responsibilities and one of the things that you've addressed here is letting the public understand the importance of infrastructure that goes throughout the state.
Right.
Because that sometimes is overlooked, and we don't understand that in order to bring the agricultural and timber products in so that they can become a part of the driving economy,
Absolutely.
we have to be able to get there.
Well, I was just talking to the economic developer of over in Darlington County, and this morning I was chatting with NISA, the the director for that, and they're all about economic development. And what we find in agriculture is kind of unique. There's a lot of companies that come into our state and they make a huge impact, but this is how ag works. As you know, you come in, they make a $5 or $10 million investment in a facility, may not have a huge number of employees, but here's the impact. Is everything that goes under that roof and is produced there is grown out into the rural community around that, and that generates multiple.
The grocery store.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean the farm side.
Yeah.
If the farmers grow it, then all that revenue and that farm gate revenue is generated. And you know where that money goes? It stays in the local economy, and the multiplier of that is very strong. So it may look like kind of a small industry, but you put several of those together and look at how all that money stays here, and it's turned
Well,
here.
it does,
and
and it means
business.
that the businesses in that community stay in business.
That's right.
Because the people who live there can afford to shop.
And that's why these 130 exhibitors are here, because they are those people and they're connecting with those farmers as they keep those dollars local. And that's, I mean, the impact and the multipliers are very, very strong in the ag industry when you look at it from that perspective.
It's been wonderful to see the outshoots that have happened. People are now, we heard Katie Black talk this morning about the wow factor in agriculture, and boy, did y'all have that last night with the taste. And I think that the drive of the farm to table movement is providing a niche market, and I know you're involved in that with trying to get a food hub getting more deeply established over here in this part of the state.
Well, we have a small farmer symposium that's a part of our commercial farm education here at the Expo. I spoke to them yesterday with the hat that I wear with the PD Food Hub, and I was telling them that. I said, guys, you got to understand. I said, as a farmer to the general public, you are a superstar. Wear that hat proud,
yes.
Know how to communicate, and put on your face and go talk to people because they look up to you because they want to know who their farmer is and who's producing it and who's growing it. Tony Melton is doing a educational session now on production ag, and as it relates to vegetable side of things. And there's just farmers there that need to know and understand, but we've also got to know the food safety side of it, the traceability. So we're talking about the new Food Safety Modernization Act. So there's a lot of those things that are so important, but you're right. The local public, they really see local fresh is a big thing. Our Department of Ag, certified SC, fresh on the menu. It's here at the right time, it's done right, and we're excited about just catapulting off of that and moving forward.
And by creating a market for our local produce, we keep our dollars in state.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And we also want to have some next generation farmers coming up. This morning, what an inspirational message we had about the Commissioner's School and how wonderful for you to see to it that this huge amount of support with that big check that you presented. We do need some new farmers, don't we?
We do. And those checks are presented because of all the ag community comes together and they realize the importance of that and bringing new and fresh bodies and young folks into the industry, so they support that, they get behind that, and they really put the dollars there to help us to be able to share and present that. And that's kind of neat. Years ago, we started talking and looking, well, what's something we can do to really give back? And I was already very familiar with the Commissioner's School. I got a son that's gone through it and all that. But the folks amongst our management team, one of the folks that's kind of not really deep into the ag world says, how about the Commissioner's School? And I was like, well, that came from an outside source. I said there couldn't be a better thing to support, and we're so excited to be a part of that and to do that and to help continue that, because those are the folks here that'll be doing this type of show. They'll be the exhibitors on the floor that's working things.
When you and I are in the rocking chair.
Yeah. Matter of fact, my son's been out here very much involved in helping to work with that and see about continuing that. So we're excited about the new and younger people coming on board.
Yesterday they were here too, en masse. How many? I think we had about 400 kids here yesterday from FFA and all that.
Yeah, they had the state tractor driving contest
I know,
upstairs.
50 teams.
Yeah.
50 teams.
So
20 people
a lot
per
of
team.
kids. It was Youth Day. FFA helped put that together, and they did educational sessions for the youth.
And the wonderful thing was that the incredible number and diversity of vendors, so that those kids got to walk around and said, well, I may not want to be in the tractor, but gosh, look at all the possibilities that are agriculture related in South Carolina.
You know, man, years ago, we were really looking back when I was involved with Clemson Extension with you guys and all. We started talking about what do we do? How do we bring the youth in? Because it was a mass exit. All the kids that were on the farm, they were going other directions because of what was happening in the industry. And we talked about it a lot. I said, you know, there's two things that they need. One is they need to know it's okay to make money, and you can make money in the ag industry, and that's good. Just handle it right. And the second thing is you need an opportunity for these kids to take their innovation, their ideas, and to do some things to utilize that and show that and bring that into the industry. Then came along the boom of what's happened with precision ag and drones and precision planting, and today we have the most technically advanced, innovative industry in the world, and that's helping to attract a lot of these kids because they're going to help move it down the road and make it happen because they're innovators. That's how a lot of them think.
I want to tell you that this has been a wonderful experience for us to participate in. We thank you for letting us come and talk to some of the people who've been here that made this wonderful conference possible, and we look forward to being with you next year
Well,
and
man,
many years to come.
I want to thank y'all for what y'all do with making it grow, what Clemson does overall, and the collaboration, because y'all been great at pulling all that together, but letting the general public know. And y'all have such a great program that does that, and we're just excited to be around it and be a little piece of the great effort that y'all are putting forward. So thank you, and God bless.
And thank you too.